Disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys. This video comes from Doyle 6315. It was a news report shortly after Lisa McPherson's death. And as you will see, I'm going to read from an article after we go through this video. You're going to see that the original cause of death was not, as Mike Rinder had stated in the previous video I shared. I think he had said embolism, thrombosis, embolism, something on that order, he said. And he also said that it's very common. Embolisms are very rare. They are not common. So I am going to do a search to find the original coroner's report. I may even do a FOIA request. I've never done that before. I don't think it's going to be too hard to find this information. So here we go.
Mike Rinder is the director of the Church of Scientology International. The only glimpse into Lisa McPherson's 17 days at the Fort Harrison Hotel comes from logs kept by Scientologists who were assigned to keep watch over Lisa. Them confidential, the courts have...
Also, in the past, many body language experts believed that when a person is lying, they look up and to the right. And now a lot of people dispute that that is not accurate. And I may even read an article that I found on that one as well. So here we go. I accidentally turned it off too soon.
Hotel comes from logs kept by Scientologists who were assigned to keep watch over Lisa. Despite Scientology's efforts to keep them confidential, the courts have made them public. The logs show Lisa's physical and mental state deteriorating over those 17 days. Rest and relaxation sounds like a wonderful idea, but the records say that 2 days into her stay, she was spitting out food and vomiting. 4 days into her stay, she was ashen-faced and feverish, and then she became violent, striking the attendants, hallucinating, thinking that she's L. Ron Hubbard, being too weak to stand, soiling herself, crying, babbling, breaking things. At that point, isn't it clear that it's not working?
What's not working?
Resting, taking her
Gaslighting.
away from the
No, I don't think that that's clear at all. I don't think that you can draw inferences or conclusions from what is said. You can read other reports, and later on there is a different perspective of what was going on. Of course they are.
The case is being handled by attorney Ken Dandar, who has his own theory about what happened over those 17 days.
So could you imagine Lisa McPherson, who is mentally unstable, according to Scientology, is having these people come in and try to force feed her. And she's yelling and screaming at them. She's banging on the wall. She's fighting with them. She's asking them questions, but they are not allowed to respond to her. All they can do is turn around and walk out the room and then write a report to the case supervisor and close the door behind them.
Also, let's bring up that she was denied her right to leave the hotel room. I believe, it is my belief that they were utilizing the introspection rundown on Lisa, and I'm going to be doing more in-depth research and sharing receipts of the court documents to show what evidence was presented. And we can only deduce what truly actually happened.
And she's not allowed to leave.
Dandar is an idiot. That's my response to that. He hasn't got a clue. He is the worst of what makes the American legal system so out of control. He is a...
Doesn't that remind you of the smearing that Mike Rinder did of Aaron Smith-Levin?
An ambulance chasing gold digger.
My reply to that is simple. If they had called an ambulance for Lisa McPherson, I wouldn't be here today.
The Scientologist never did call an ambulance, but on the 17th day, Lisa was at last taken to a hospital in a church van.
Whatever became of that church van, one does wonder. Who was driving the church van? Who was in the van besides Lisa McPherson? Because a lot of us have seen pictures of what she looked like in her autopsy, and it was tragic. It's tragic what she looked like. Held against her will, denied medical attention, denied any contact with her family. Bob Minton knew a lot about it, didn't he?
Didn't take Lisa to the closest hospital, which was just a few blocks away, or the second closest, or the third, or even the fourth nearest for that matter. Instead, they drove to Newport Richey Hospital, 45 minutes away, and it was during those 45 minutes that Lisa McPherson died.
She certainly would have made it to the hospital that's only a few blocks down the road, alive, and where she would have been provided the appropriate care.
Why was Lisa taken so far away when it was clear that she was ill?
As you will notice, Rinder does not answer the question immediately. He's looking up and to the left. Did you notice that his left eye squinched?
Funding.
And again. Hold on, you guys. Not finished. I'm not sure how this is going to show up because I'm using landscape. So it's possible you might not be able to read all this. Distrust in Clearwater. A special report. Death of a Scientologist. Heightened suspicions in a Florida town by Douglas France, December 1st, 1997. Late on a November afternoon, 2 years ago, a 36-year-old Scientologist named Lisa McPherson was involved in a minor traffic accident. She was not injured, but she inexplicably stripped off her clothes and began to walk naked down the street. A paramedic rushed her into an ambulance and asked her why she had taken off her clothes. Miss McPherson replied, "I wanted help. I wanted help." She was taken to a nearby hospital for a psychiatric examination. But several Scientologists arrived and explained, the ones with no names, explained that the religion opposes psychiatry. Miss McPherson asked to leave, and against medical advice, she was released into the care of the Scientologists. The ones with no names. 17 days later, after being kept under 24-hour watch, that's called baby watch for anyone who doesn't know. It's called baby watch. At a Scientology-owned hotel. Oh, that would be the Fort Harrison Hotel. In downtown Clearwater. Miss McPherson was dead. By church accounts, she had spit out food, banged violently on the walls of her room, and hallucinated. The county medical examiner said Miss McPherson was deprived of water for at least her last 5 to 10 days. That part Rinder left out, didn't he? Now, this part I hadn't read about, but I don't think the original coroner's report said anything about a blood clot. And died of a blood clot brought on by severe dehydration. Me personally, it's my opinion that the blood clot was added. So that embolism that Rinder was talking about, me personally, have not seen any evidence of the embolism. And embolisms are not common at all. Church officials denied responsibility for the death. Of course they did. What church officials are we talking about? In my land, we utilize names. Church officials denied responsibility for the death and challenged the medical examiner's findings. See? Because the original coroner's report said severe dehydration, severe starvation. But the image of a woman who appeared healthy and successful, slipping into dementia. Who said anything about dementia? She was 30-something years old. I don't think she had dementia. It was psychosis. Dying inside the Church of Scientology's flagship building. Here has rekindled deep suspicions in the serene retirement community, which for 2 decades has been the unlikely spiral headquarters of one of the world's most debated churches. Most debated. Okay, I'm not going to read the entire article, but they had to drop in illuminates, of course, even as it illuminates the cult's relationship with this Gulf Coast city. They talk about her relationships with her family and how everything was touched by Scientology and the financial demands of Scientologists. Okay, hold on a minute here. Okay, this is from Forbes magazine. Remember how I told you people who are lying look up and to the left? I just remember that from somewhere. So I did a little research. 5 ways to tell if someone's lying, according to the experts. And you guys know what I think about that word. Ariana Johnson, former staff. updated March 10th, 2023. Top line. Research shows most Americans aren't good at pinpointing lies, but according to experts, body language, voice inflection, and eye contact are good determinants of pinpointing a liar. Last time I checked, it's free to read articles, isn't it? Research from the Harvard Business Review found powerful people are better liars because their power relieves them from the stress of lying and increases their ability to deceive others. Yeah, they're good at it. Most people are not very good at detecting lies. According to a study published in the Personality and Social Psychology Review, equating their odds to that of a coin flip. However, research from the Association for Psychological Science found people are actually pretty good at judging liars subconsciously. It's the conscious mind that hinders people's judgment. A 2002 survey of 2,000 American adults from study finds reports the average person tells around 4 lies per day. This is not what I was looking for. Okay, you guys, I had the direction mixed up, but it did exist. So if I'm looking at someone and they look up and their eyeballs go to the right, I'm thinking it's the left. So it's my dyslexia. So anyways, it did exist, but now a lot of the experts are saying that it is not true. But for many, many years, people thought that. I do think eye movements can tell you something. This is from NBC News. Notion that liars glance to the right debunked. Conventional wisdom has it that when people talk, the direction of their eye movements reveals whether or not they're lying. A glance up and to the left supposedly means a person is telling the truth, whereas a glance to the upper right signals deceit. However, new research thoroughly debunks these notions. As it turns out, you can't smell a liar by where he looks. July 11, 2012. By Natalie Wachover. Conventional wisdom has it that when people talk, the direction of their eye movements reveals whether or not they're lying. A glance up and to the left supposedly means a person is telling the truth, whereas a glance to the upper right signals deceit. However, new research thoroughly debunks these notions. As it turns out, you can't smell a liar by where he looks. Researchers in the United Kingdom investigated the alleged correlation between eye direction and lying after realizing it was being taught in behavioral training courses, seminars, and on the web, without the support of a shred of scientific evidence. The idea has its roots in a largely discredited, I don't know why it would be discredited, 1970s theory called Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP. I believe in NLP. Set of techniques intended to help people master social interactions. To just disappear? Hold on. In one experiment, the scientists monitored the leftward and rightward glances of 32 study participants as they told a mix of truths and falsehoods. The participants, all of whom were right-handed, in case eye movements are reversed in lefties, were equally likely to glance upward and to the right and upward and to the left, regardless of whether they were lying or telling the truth. In a second experiment, the researchers found that a group of 25 participants who were informed of the alleged relationship between eye movements and lying were no better at detecting lies than a second group of 25 participants who were not taught the rule of thumb. Finally, in a third experiment, the researchers investigated a video archive of 52 individuals making public pleas on behalf of missing relatives, half of whom are known to have been lying based on outcomes of the cases. and the other half found to have been telling the truth. When the researchers tallied the number of upper left and upper right glances among the speakers, there was again no difference between the directions of the liars and the truth-tellers' eye movements. Anyways, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's interesting. If anything, I will make sure to leave the links in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.